Eric Mo has been changing the washing for 30 minutes. I don't know, he be saying something.
He's right behind you.
What?
And also complete a project where they focus on their topic, as well as 2 trips to Strathcona Park Lodge and a very enjoyable trip to Florida. Spectrum was began by 3 teachers at Steveston High School in 1996. And as I'm sure we can all remember, the prospective members apply in grade 7 and are selected through an application, portfolio, interview, and written test. Candidates are not just considered for academic abilities, but also for qualities like perseverance, dedication, but mostly the wish to go above and beyond what is expected. Tonight, we will hear speeches from every member of the class and some special presentations. Spectrum would like to thank our guests and mentors for joining us, and also for taking the time to mentor us throughout the past 2 years. Also, thank you to Ms. Crespo, our event coordinator. So, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the MCs for tonight, and also 2 fabulous ladies who planned the whole gala, Ms. Priscilla Kong and Ms. Stephanie Lee.
Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you, Sylvie, for that wonderful introduction. But not only that, we would like to thank our honored guests, family, and friends again for taking time out of their busy schedules here tonight. But before any excitement begins, let us introduce ourselves once again. We are your MCs for today. I am Stephanie, and this is Priscilla. We have survived all the essays, projects, tests, ELOs, long nights or sleepless nights, long lessons and lectures, can proudly say that we have accomplished something with our lives and continue on in our academic lives with a smile on our face. And even though we have no clue what life has in store for us in the future, it's the memories that we'll always remember and recall. 5, 10, 20, or even 30 years later. Even if some of us end up making Subway sandwiches for a living, or end up finding the cure for cancer, the bonds that we share are immeasurable. We are all special in our own ways, and even if we might not be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer tonight, this day will go down in history for all of us Spankies.
Stop with all this sappy stuff. You started it. Well, let's continue. We'll continue later with all the speeches. So let's get on with the show and save the emotions for later. So throughout the evening, we'll be hearing speeches from the Spectrum students and one former Speckie that are reminiscing about their memories in this program. And we also have the privilege of watching some special performances put on by these phenomenal individuals.
And without further ado, let's invite the first candidate to give their speech.
So, Curtis Chan, will you please come up?
Alright, hey guys, how you guys doing tonight? Alright, so, well actually, everybody kind of convinced me to write a speech for tonight. I was gonna, but I actually kind of slept in when I got home. I'm just the boss, and I have to actually like run a block. My shirt's not ironed. Anyways, I guess what I really want to say is just kind of what's come right from my heart, because that's the only thing I can think of right now. And actually, this past year is really different from the past couple years, because this year I kind of like parted ways with Spectrum. I don't know if you could say I missed it, but it's obviously something different. And you know, when I quit Spectrum this year, I kind of realized what Spectrum really is. I mean, a lot of people might say, if you were like looking at it positively, you'd be like, Spectrum's like an enriched group where like a lot of the students learn kind of like harder stuff, right? A lot of other people would say it's just like a bunch of tryhards who just try to overachieve and do like 5 hours of homework a day. Anyways, I realized what Spectrum really is it's like a family. Because like how often do you know like everybody else in the class as well as you do in Spectrum? You know how people talk, you know, in the class. You know the activities they could do, the sports they could play. You also kind of know what they want to do for a career, what they want to pursue in the future. So if you guys really take a step back, you realize Spectrum's like a really big family. And although it's a class, you know, we all know each other for like 3 years now. It's great friendships. You know, last thing I just want to say, like, as a lot of you guys, well, every one of you guys are graduating except for me, but you guys are graduating tonight. Just want you guys to consider how grateful you guys should be, you know, to be part of such a great program. You know, make a lot of friendships through a lot of trips, like going to Orlando, going to Strat, and you also make a lot of friendships when you're kind of just procrastinating on how to get the assignment done. So, you know, I think it's a really great program, and I'm really glad I was a part of it. So, thanks, guys, and have a really good evening.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, all our honored guests, family, friends. So, to be honest, I spent about a week putting off writing this speech and about 3 hours actually writing it. I felt daunted by the task of attempting to sum up the future and what key points could I focus that everybody could relate to. So, after a week of thinking about it, the answer struck me. I'm not going to write about anything. You might, in your head, you'd be like, oh, what do you mean? But the thing is that what I have in my heart and in my mind is different than what I can actually tell you guys. So I'm going to do my best to tell you guys about it. So there's this one quote that I really enjoy. It's, memory is the seed, but is our constant in our lives. It is in the memory that we are established that our habits of our own beauty and our own ugliness. Well, what this means to me is that our memories are what allow us as people to remember all the good times and sad times. And when we look back on these days, our memories will still be there. So, yesterday I asked a few of my friends, when you think of the future, what one word pops into your head? So actually Stephanie replied me with fear. Truthfully, many of us may be glad that we are now done with the special program, but deep down, all of us are scared. Was it not yesterday that we were in grade 7 in the library getting an interview? Wasn't it yesterday when we were rock climbing in Strathcona? Time flies, my friends. In 2 years, we'll be graduating, all going our separate ways. Speckies, we are all moving on to new and different things, new pathways, and new future careers. Families, you'll be watching all of us do that. At this leaping off point, a hand to hold is both a comfort and a guide. Should that hand grip too tightly, however, the spirit becomes shackled. It is important to learn, to explore, discover, and to grow under the constant protection of another one's wing. And we have all been each other's wings for this program for the past 3 years. We've been through so much together, and it's been a good journey to be with all 30 of you and Curtis. And thank you guys so much for everything you've done for the past 3 years and putting up with me. But all the sappy stuff out of the way, I want to thank another special person, my mentor, Dr. Nina Diepkerke. Sadly, some of your mentors cannot be here, so with those who are here. So we all know we had the horrid NX project. So in November, I was looking around UBC for a possible mentor, and I came across neuroethics. And basically, Nina has been there for me ever since the first day. She's been guiding me along the path of greatness and teaching me all that she knew. She took time out of her busy schedule to help a student like me with this project, and I want to thank her so much for the experience and all that she's given me. Thank you. And before I leave and continue on with this show, I wanted to say thank you so much for being here tonight and taking all the time out to come and join us today. It was a bit of trouble to plan everything today, but honestly, I think that it was really worth it to see all your smiling faces and all the memories we're going to be making tonight. So thank you so much.
Now we would like to invite Kathleen Lau to come and say her speech. Kathleen, would you please come up?
Okay, good evening, XX and XY chromosomes. I'm Kathleen, and 2 years ago I was unleashed into this ruthless habitat of high school in Richmond Christian Middle. Trying out for a Spectrum was one of the most nerve-wracking auditions I've ever participated in. Like a job interview, you have to think on your feet when answering their interrogation component. And like a piano competition or a spelling bee, your goal is not to just wow the socks off the teachers with your eloquence and deep thinking, but also to intimidate your opponents but not get scared in return. I remember sitting in my row, I just got 2 new colors in my braces. It was like neon pink and neon green. I was feeling so confident in myself. But then I looked down the aisle, and then I saw everybody else I was going against, and they just like radiated this aura of like feeling experienced and I've seen the world. And I just look at myself and I go like, I'm just like this nerd, and I know that vibrate inside out. Not much of a comparison. And yeah, they just look so casually intelligent. They don't even have to try. So actually, Steph and Nick are here today because we were competing against each other. And I distinctly remember when Steph was like, oh, I was in like the science fair, and Nick was, oh, I have this like hockey cup, and I was just like, well, I have this piano certificate. And I just felt so normal in comparison. So I was actually really scared to try out for Spectrum. And when I got accepted, I remember how my mom was so casual about it. She was like, oh, put on your socks, kind of warm. And you know, I got this envelope today, and we got into that Spectrum thing, and we got toast or oatmeal, because it was like in the morning during spring break. I just went completely bonkers, and I started dancing and jumping up and down, because when you feel that you're worth something and you qualify and that you've won, you just do crazy things. And my parents warned me that this Enrich program was really intense, but I emphasized that if after undergoing the pains of making a portfolio, taking an assessment and a cross-examination and getting in and then not going, I threatened to get myself into the principal's office every day and boycott being force-fed to learn easy stuff. So I'm glad I got in. And anyhow, before I left, I always had this like close-knit group of misfits, and I promised them that I would not change, I would not grow up, and I would not get assimilated into public school. So why I like this program is I broke my promise, and I did change, but I still haven't grown up. I believe that my interaction with other human beings has much improved compared to myself before. Because in grade 5, we were supposed to do this group project about like reenacting the Jabberwocky poem into a play, and I just didn't want to go with anybody else. Didn't want to work with anybody else. So I just had like a little puppet play by myself. It was actually very interesting. I performed very well. And yeah, I didn't like to talk to anybody else because they just wouldn't talk about things that I like to talk about. And you guys all know what I like to talk about. Thanks. Yep. And I became more inclined to other people's opinions. I have become, like, you know, insulting people less frequently. And I don't take jokes so sensitively anymore. And unless it directs my friends or family, in which case I will proceed to skewer the liver and coil their intestines around camel. So for NX in grade 10, I started taking seriously how much I love animals and thinking about having a career in that rather than having it in forensics, which I didn't really connect as much. So my topic was fly brains, and it was so fun. I really regret that I could just bring you guys all to the lab and just play with the flies. And I really want to thank my mentor, even though he's not here today. His name is Professor Michael Jordan. He's not a basketball player, but I really owe a lot to him because he taught me all about molarity and he helped me recapture all the flies that I spilled all over the place. And in Orlando, what I liked about it was that I made so many memories, and even in my everyday life now, I can find things I can connect to. Like whenever I hear a Disney song like Hakuna Matata, I immediately think Magic Kingdom, and I go like, oh, Orlando. And it's the same with Spectrum. It's like everywhere you look, you see parts of it. You see remnants that are like in people. Like Michelle, every time I laugh, I think about her. Priscilla, every time I pull an all-nighter, she's at my side, going like, oh, I'm so tired. And I'm like, oh, I know, but we have to finish this. So, And some memories are funny, but most of them are actually hilarious. Well, for me at least. Like, I promised 2 years ago I would say this at Gala, so I have to say it, even though it's an inside joke. Nick, every time I throw something, I think about, I'm sorry that I threw something at your face, but it makes me laugh every time. So, in conclusion, thank you for all the Speckys for putting up with me for 3 years. That is quite impressive. You should give a round of applause. To my mommy, because even though I had a huge homework load and I always kept on raging about it, she didn't put me up for adoption or yet. And for my teachers for dragging me here, kicking and biting, so I can stand here today. Thanks, Matt.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a good time, even though I know you're going to probably be a little bit overwhelmed with 31 of these speeches, which are all pretty much replicas of one another in some way. Anyways, for those of you who don't know or didn't really hear, my name is Michelle, and like everyone else, I'm going to share with you some of my fondest memories of Spectrum. But first, let me start off with telling you about how I felt when I first joined. Well, like many of you, I was probably really, really nervous during those interviews and the tests and everything, and I had no clue what I was going to do. And in fact, I was actually over the moon when I found out I got in. Although my dad played a really bad trick on me by telling me I didn't get in unless I treated him to dinner. So thank you. Here's your dinner. Anyways, as cliche as it sounds, I really can't imagine my life without Spectrum. 3 years is an extremely long time to be with the same group of people, but nevertheless, I still enjoyed it. We're crazy, we're hyper, we stay up, we talk to each other, we can trust each other, and we're a really close-knit group of friends. Being together with a group of like-minded people who I can resonate with, it's something that is truly very enjoyable. Without Spectrum, I wouldn't be able to meet all of you, or at least get to know you as close as we are today. Like Kathleen, for an example. Remember when we first met, I kind of accidentally dropped a lock on your head? Accidentally dropped a lock on your head? I'm really sorry about that. But I know at the moment she hated me, but look how close we are now. Anyways, you see, Spectrum, just as the teachers had promised from the very beginning, provided me with a family, pretty much. Over the course of these 3 years, we've grown so close together, and you guys mean the world to me. Bowling, Strathcona, Florida, NX, and the opera are just some of the many amazing experiences that I got to share with you, and I wouldn't change them for a thing in the world. Bowling was a nice icebreaker, where I got to know Aaron, and the fact that he likes to taunt people even though he sucked at bowling as much as I did. Strathcona was a small little push that got you out of your comfort zone. Nugent, we were terrified of heights, but we got through it. Yes. We're alive now, aren't we? Strathcona also helped you get along with others. They made you realize, like, you have to show your true colors in Strathcona. I mean, you're all exhausted, you're dirty, you're cranky. A person's true colors show, and you know them for who they really are. Florida, on the other hand, was a completely different story. It was a place of comfort and an apparent gift from above when you really compare it with the harsh conditions of Strathcona. Really. It was a place where wonderful memories were formed and we bonded even closer. Last but not least, NX, every Specky's nightmare. It was the biggest wake-up call you could ever have in regards to hard work, socializing, and procrastination. Having switched my topics each and every year from Doctors Without Borders to film producing to criminal law, I have learned a lot about myself in regards to a future career path. And I believe it's safe to say that NX has been a real eye-opener to me. Although my mentor's not here, I would like to thank Professor Christine Bolt from UBC for putting up with me and all my questions. In short, thanks to all of you, the teachers, and the program in general, I am the person I am today, a little more confident and a little more motivated. Spectrum has not only thrown a wrench into my sleeping schedule, like it has for many of you. I know because I stay up with a majority of you till 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so that's the point. Anyways, but Spectrum has also changed me as a whole. In a nutshell, it has been a real roller coaster ride. Spectrum has had its ups and downs. There are moments filled with adrenaline, thrill, giddy euphoria, but there are also moments when we're anxious, nervous, and sick. and just plain right down in the dumps, questioning our own insanity for joining the program in the first place. Really, at 5 a.m. in the morning, you really don't want to be doing any of this. But regardless, I still enjoyed every moment of it, and I want to thank all of you for making these 3 years so memorable for me. I'm really going to miss Spectrum, the people more so than the workload, although both of these have become such a vital part of my life throughout the past 3 years. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. Thank you for always being there for me.
I'm not a really funny person, but there's one thing I'm very good at, which is being really lame and corny. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today's the day, June 14th, 2012, a day to celebrate our graduation, a day to reminisce upon all our memories, and a day to gather together one last time as students of the Spectrum program. While reliving these memories in preparation for the speech, the most important events that we have endured seem to be those that are most evident, which are the hardest ones. From the long, exhausting nights of homework to the struggles in harsh weather in Strathcona. Through these predicaments, the 30 individuals bonded as one group, and as Mrs. Christie said, one entity, and one family. As corny as this may sound, the enrollment into the Spectrum program has been one of the wisest yet daunting decisions of my life. Without this opportunity, I would not have established such great friendship. I honestly don't know who I don't enjoy talking to in this class. We were the best witnesses to each other's growth, and for 8 months a year, we all developed some of the best chemistry among our SLSS peers. Without one another, we could not have achieved our academic progress and success, our laughter and joy, our courage and determination, and most importantly, love and friendship. Honestly, there's too much that happened in these 3 years to summarize into one small speech. I know that without my reminder, these engraving memories, or the other speeches, will relive your memories in Spectrum. Thank you to all my classmates, my teachers, my mentor, and my dad, who I will not point out so he does not get awkward, for making all these years perfect within its flaws for me. Like a blessing I received many years ago, I wish you all the best of luck. So, I have a special guest today. No, I'm just kidding. But I would like to bring in a quote from Dr. Seuss. So this is from a book called Oh, the Places You Go. So here's how it goes. Congratulations, Speckies. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. On and on you'll hike, and I know you'll hike far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are. So today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Thank you, everyone, for doing everything for me, and this 3 years has been really, really nice. Thank you.
The Guys, which is a band. Yeah, alright. Before you guys actually come up, I'm just going to talk a bit about it. So this is the first year a Spectrum Gala has ever had different type of performances besides actually like 30-something speeches. So I hope you guys enjoy it so you don't get that bored listening to all of our speeches. So The Guys.
Unique experience it was. Thanks very much, guys.
Short and sweet.
Short and simple is the key.
Keep it a bit diverse.
Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to say a few words. This isn't really a formal speech, but I've really enjoyed my time here, 3 years of Spectrum, and it seemed to get better and better every year, and it kind of culminated with the Orlando experience. And I'd like to give a shout out to my family for supporting me these whole 3 years and waking me up in the mornings when I sleep in because I'm staying up late. And I have my mentor here, Jennifer, and she was really awesome with my project. And I couldn't have done it without her, obviously, and she couldn't have done her project without me. So it was a mutual relationship. And so this first song is a cover of the song Hero by Enrique Iglesias, one of the Spectrum favorites. And it's about our grade 10 year as Speckies and all the shenanigans and such. Hope you like it. Are you ready?
Not very loud, is it?
The lights were done by Zach's mentors.
It's really quiet, Zach.
Technical difficulties, guys, sorry. Hey, man.
Would you sleep if I asked you to sleep? The answer is no. We have a test tomorrow. Would you study if you saw me stressing? Would you procrastinate tonight? Would you tremble if the message was true? Would you lie? Of course this is true. Now would you die for a dead good mark? Don't procrastinate tonight. Would you sleep that you're having no time? For what was assigned? Would you fail and cry? Am I in too deep? Have I lost my mind? I don't care if it was very nice.
No! So we're going to go on with a few more speeches before dinner is served. So can Nugent Lou please come up?
No thanks. You can not do that, please. Thanks. Alright, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who didn't already get the message, I'm Nugent. I've been in the Spectrum program for 3 years since the beginning. So it seems to me like just yesterday that I picked up the mail that with the envelope with the Steves in London logo on it. I opened it and it told me I had been accepted into the Spectrum program. And at that point I was thinking like, what? Because I honestly did not expect to get in. But here I am 3 years later and quite a changed person. So the last 3 years have been some of the most dynamic of my life. 3 years, and in those 3 years have been some of the happiest, most stressful, most frustrating, but definitely the most exciting moments I've ever experienced in my life. And there have been a lot of great times during the entire Spectrum program, but I think in particular, and a lot of people agree, are the 2 Strathcona trips and of course Orlando, who could forget. And first year of Strathcona was a really good introduction to outdoor adventure that was to come the following year. One night in the wilderness, I think that was enough for the first year. A lot of good times there, such as me and Curtis Chan having each other's back in the woods. Or being the canoe carrying myself, Andy Lynn, Mornay, and Curtis, of course, just reaching speeds untold of for a canoe. Or playing Big Two at Cabin Davis. And the next year after that, Mr. McBurney told us that Strathcona 9 would be a lot about roughing it, and yeah, he was right. My group, we left the day after we got to the lodge, and we engaged in 3 days and 2 nights of canoeing through lakes and carrying canoes on our shoulders for about 1.2 kilometers and piggybacking Nick. It was quite memorable that day. And who could forget the last night when we got back to our cabin, we all decided to sleep in the same room, so we had quite the interesting setup. 4 guys on bunk beds, 1 guy on a raised platform of chairs and a mattress, 2 guys on the floor, 1 in front of the door and the other in the closet area, which by the way was quite comfortable. And of course, who would ever forget the 1 week that we spent earlier this year at Orlando, where we went out to theme parks and other tourist sites every day with the sun beating down our backs, 4 water bottles in our bags, and reapplying sunscreen every time we got on the bus. I don't think anyone will ever forget that. But of course, with these fun times come the challenges of being in the Enrich program. And I speak, of course, of the NX program, both tedious and difficult to do. Unfortunately, my mentor, Dr. Simon Hearn, could not be present tonight, but I worked with him for a couple months on clinical psychology, and despite the tediousness and the difficulty of this project, I feel like I learned a lot while working with my mentor, and I'm really glad that I met him. And yeah, so these few years have been some of the best of my life, I must admit. And there's been ups and downs and everything in between, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my 3 years in Spectrum. Thank you for listening.
Coming today, joining us in celebrating our graduation. I know you're all very busy people, so I'm really glad that everyone can make it. Today is a very special day for each and every one of us. Today is the day when our 3 years of Spectrum concludes. To be honest, Spectrum had a lot of ups and downs. Well, sometimes more downs than ups. But there are very stressful days, as you all may remember. For example, that week before Florida. In fact, that was a stressful week. However, there are also very great memories, including our days in Strathcona and Florida. We've all made it through, though, together as a family. To me, our Spectrum class is exactly that. Exactly that. A big family, whether this is at school, at Strathcona, at Florida, or even our group on Facebook. Seeing each other for 2 classes each day, we have bonded and grown together as a class. Although I do not remember the first day of Spectrum, I know that I have grown and matured. Spectrum is pretty much known for NX, and even though people say it's hard, I'm still here to say that's an understatement. My NX this year has brought me to study Japanese Shinto shrines with Dr. Namlin Gru at UBC. Even though he could not be here today, I still thank him for all his time and effort that he put in with me. I couldn't have done it without him. So, NX has provided me an opportunity to pursue my interest in Japan, as well as work with a professional in this area in a different setting. Although NX was such a great experience, I still have to say I think we're all relieved to have made it through. In conclusion, Spectrum has been a blast, and I really enjoyed these 3 years with all of you. We created great memories that I'll never forget, including this gala. Again, thank you all for coming, and enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having an okay time so far. So as to not bore you any further, I'll keep my speech relatively short. So here are my final thoughts on Spectrum. It's really been a wild journey, and honestly speaking, not all of it was fun and easy, like many of my students have said before. Of course, there were amazing moments that we've enjoyed, like Strathcona, Orlando, and various group projects. But there were also many, many late nights of homework, procrastination, and our favorite, linguistic relativity. Oh yeah. But tonight, we're here to celebrate, so I'll save the depressing stuff for another time. Strathcona, in my opinion, solidified our relationships. For some reason, there is nothing quite like seeing another fellow student disheveled and dirty that bonds people together. Or maybe it was a team-building activity, nights spent together, and uncomfortably amazing out trips that brought us closer. Either way, the cold and rainy weeks we spent together were well worth it, in hindsight, of course. I want to give a special thank you to my awesome kayak group in grade 9. It wasn't great putting on those wetsuits in the morning, but your optimistic and encouraging attitudes made up for it. So yeah, thanks guys. Secondly, Orlando, who could forget about that? That trip was absolutely fantastic and well worth the waiting that we did. That was truly a blessing in our hectic lives, especially that week before Orlando. The warm, sunny atmosphere at Disney formed magical, lifelong memories and brought our Spectrum family even closer than before. In fact, Orlando was so fantastic, I think I'd go through Spectrum all over again just for Orlando. And finally, we reached NX, our biggest nightmare, but also the biggest alarm clock life could give us. Despite my resent, I can say that I learned much from the NX experience. Ask questions frequently, step outside of your comfort zone, do as much research as you can to not sound uneducated, and above all, communicate well. These are just some of the lessons NX taught me. Today, my mentor for grade 10 is here with me today. He's Mr. Leonard Lau. I won't put him out so as not to make everything awkward. And my topic for grade 10 was firearms examination. Let me just say that he was a really awesome mentor. He was really patient with me. Thank you for putting up with me. And he taught me lots on a topic that I otherwise would be clueless about. And so my speech is almost done, don't worry. To the adults here, if I have made the Spectrum program sound like a complete nightmare, I can assure you that it's not. Of course, there were tough times, but spending 3 years with these amazing people was really a valuable experience. One that I would not trade if given the chance to. And to my fellow Speckies out there, it was an awesome 3 years. I lost my place. And I really hope that I can hang out with you guys and be in the same classes as you guys next year. And to those of you who are unfortunately leaving us for more ambitious courses next year, best of luck, and please come back and visit. So thank you, and have a great rest of the evening.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, my name is Joey, and I just want to talk about my 3 years in Spectrum. I remember the first day of high school when I walked into my first Spectrum class. And everyone was glancing around, and we realized we didn't know anyone at all. I remember Mr. Bernie telling us about how we all would become a big, happy family. I didn't really think it was going to be true until now thinking back about it, I realized everyone in this class right now was a big part of my family. You know what? Time flies. 8th grade just felt like it was yesterday, and I remember walking through the doors of Mr. Mitz's class. Through many of our ups and downs, I think we got to know each other really extremely well. Strathcona in grade 8 when we were out at the out trip for one night, and grade 9 when we were out for 2 days and 2 nights. It not only taught me how to become independent on myself, but also made me understand each one of you really well. Orlando this year was actually a really good trip, and I would never, ever, ever forget this fabulous trip. Even though there might have been arguments between a lot of us during this trip, Everything we did was really amazing. The Romeo and Juliet project we did in grade 9, the church studies project we did this year, opera last year, all the bowling trips we did every year, everything had been a great memory of my life. Thank you, all Speckies. And for my NX project, I'd like to thank Miss Kirsty Gala. She was a great mentor, and she's here today, but then I don't really want to point her out. But then she was really good. She gave me the experience inside the classroom, teaching her class, and she taught me a lot. And I think this memory would never, ever, ever be forgotten about in my life. So thank you all guys, and Specs. I think I really miss you, all of you, a lot, and good luck in the future, everyone.
So lastly, before we have dinner, can Angela Payne please come up?
So good evening, everyone. As you know, my name is Angela Payne, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this solemn and joyous occasion. It's been a long 3 years, but here we are at the closing chapter of our Spectrum years. How do we measure the time we've spent in Spectrum? At the beginning, I measured it in class periods, counting down to the days to eventual freedom. As the years passed, I know that as I look out at all of you, I will measure my time here in a much different way. I will measure it in all the friendships I've enjoyed these 3 years. Some were casual and some were closer, but I will remember it and cherish each one fondly. I wouldn't say Spectrum in general was a smooth ride, but through the ups and downs, my friends were always there to help me through. Whether it was someone to share the laughter with, or someone who suffered with you through the most stressful times. I didn't have to experience that alone. As Spectrum students, we bonded through all the memories we have shared. I'm extremely glad that I became part of this family. Without it, I wouldn't have experienced Camp Strathcona or Florida. NX was also a valuable experience, although it was not easy to step outside of my comfort zone. But I felt really accomplished once everything was completed. Unfortunately, my mentor is unable to join us today. My mentor is Dr. Valerie White from Vancouver General Hospital, and I really enjoyed working with her because she's very nice and generous, and she's really patient with me. And so, in conclusion, in Spectrum, I learned many things. I learned how to cooperate and work with others. I learned how to manage my time. But most importantly, I learned to step outside of my comfort zone and take risks. Lastly, I believe that we owe a huge debt of gratitude to the following people. To the teachers, who unselfishly shared their time and knowledge with us. To our parents, who supported us in more ways than is possible to count. So I wish all my Speckies good luck in future endeavors. And may we always be friends wherever we go and whatever we do. Thank you.
To work on a project through in half a year. At the end of it all, NX was definitely a worthwhile experience that shaped my character. But more importantly, today I would like to talk about what Spectrum means to me. 3 years ago, I walked into my first Spectrum class and Mr. Mitchell's room full of strangers. There were only 2 people from my elementary school, and I didn't recognize any of the other faces. But time has gone so fast, and in those 3 precious years, I have gotten to know all of you really well. Other students always ask me, what's so different about Spectrum? Because they assume the program is just 3 years of extra homework for those who feel like they haven't had it done. I have never been able to answer that question properly, and I don't think I will ever be able to, because Spectrum cannot be described with words. The strength of the friendships I have developed in this class is immeasurable, and the memories we shared in the classroom in Strathcona, and especially in Florida, will forever stick with me. I love all of you so much. You're like my second family. Except for my family right here. As many of you know, I'm transferring to the IB program in Richmond High next year with Series I. Although this means I cannot see most of you guys around school, I will definitely keep in touch. I hope that all of us will continue to be the bestest of friends no matter what happens. Hey, when life gives you lemons, that's fine. We all like lemons. Thank you so much.
Spectrum and what it's meant to me. First, I want to just get out of the way. Spectrum was fun. Whether kayaking in Strathcona, watching an opera, experiencing intense thrill rides in Orlando, or team building at the Zone Bowling Center, Spectrum has been full of laughs and good times. We've also developed quite a conglomerate of inside jokes, but I won't share them because most of the people here won't get them. Next, I want to say Spectrum was pretty hard. Our teachers decided it was their job to push us as far and as fast as they possibly could, and sometimes even to the level of first-year university curriculum. Usually, though, we wouldn't find things difficult because one teacher was being unfair with the workload. It was because 2 or 3 of them were doing it all at the same time. So, I do have to thank them for allowing jokes made at 2:30 in the morning on Facebook to seem funny, though. Finally, Spectrum was really worth it. I'm extremely proud of the level of maturity we would exhibit at places like Strathcona and Orlando, because here we would be away from our home, away from our family, and we would be expected to be mature by ourselves with only a few teachers to keep control. I was also thinking that we've really developed the maturity over the years, helping each other when we need it. When I look at other classes, the biggest difference that I notice between us and them is that they're all about the individual, and here we're all about helping each other. We've been talking a lot about how we're all really good friends and we've developed close relationships. I do have to say, to be realistic, none of us are, where there aren't everyone best friends with everyone else. It doesn't work like that when you're 30 people. But we all know how to work together when we need each other. When there's a project, a test, or some other outside of school responsibility, we know we can count each other on each other when it counts. And I really ought to address annex. Although my mentor, Dr. John Fisher, wasn't here, I still want to thank her for the way that she helped me to understand my topic, bioethics. Philosophy is a really big thing, and I don't think I could have made it without it. And really, this project, the one that's hovered over our heads for 3 years, honestly took a lot out of us. It isn't easy to have a project spanning months at a time. It isn't easy to find strangers to talk with and work with. It isn't easy to live up to what working professionals expect of the students who are asking them for mentorship. But we did it. Every one of us proved that we can, really, do something that many university students would still find challenging. I think that Spectrum has helped us make us into people like that. So, Sparkies, thank you. Thanks for sharing part of yourselves with me and letting me grow with you into near grade 11s, assuming that we all pass grade 10. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Gee, what can I say? These past 3 years went by like a blur. It seemed like yesterday when I was walking to Mr. Mitz's class and seeing the Spectrum class for the very first time. At first, and I'm sure that every single one of you guys did the same thing as I did, I had some first impressions about everyone in the class. Some were good, some weren't so good. Now, 3 years down the line, I see everybody here as in the same light as a fellow Speckie and as my friend. There is not a single person in this room who does not deserve to be here. We have all worked tremendously hard to come to where we are today. From staying up all night to complete our essays, to staying up all night to complete our projects. I think that we can all learn 2 things from this experience. 1, our teachers really like to push us hard. And 2, that our Spectrum class have proven to be a true team. In past years, other Spectrum classes have fallen apart and that people drop out over the years. Our Spectrum class has stayed together for the past 3 years without any dropouts. What? We have a lot to know from each other, learn from each other, become more than friends with each other. We should all be proud of ourselves, of our hard work, of our achievement, and of our friendships. I would like to thank my teachers who will be watching this video at a later time, and thank them for all the hard work and inspirational words that they said to me. Hi. I would like to thank my mentor, Mr. Gary Dave, who is sitting over there right now, for leading me on such an inspirational journey known as NX. I would also like to thank my mom, who is sitting there beside my mentor, who has helped me through all the many all-nighters I have pulled with delicious food. Thank you, Mom. Finally, I would like to thank every single Speccy for making the past 3 years such an enjoyable ride. We have truly come together as a team and as a family. And although we will no longer have the 3 classes together, although we will not see each other, we will always be the Spectrum class of 2012. And although our paths will separate now, I hope that one day, somewhere down the line, we will all be able to meet once again and have the same close friendships as we do today. Thank you.
I have fallen under the spell or a drug known as procrastination. As you can see, I'm not holding anything, I'm not reading anything. Thus, this is my script. Procrastination is one of the major words to me when I think of Spectrum. We procrastinate in everything. When it comes to sleep, homework, due dates, even many things like gaming, we procrastinated that due to the fact that we had to work so hard. Procrastination is a deadly drug. We've all committed it, and I'm probably sure everyone in this room has committed it once. And as I now continue, I shall now note that I now procrastinated from talking actually about Spectrum, my next topic, and my feelings about Spectrum. Procrastination is always a very deadly thing. But moving on, to my feelings for Spectrum, I really like Spectrum. I kind of feel bad that we have to split up sometimes. Andy, she, and Jerry moving on to IB, becoming the true tryhards. I'm just saying, IB is a lot of work. You'll enjoy it. But to conclude my thoughts, I think Spectrum is a memory that we'll never forget, mainly because of, say, our 2 Strathcona trips. I could never forget that room me and Morton shared. Although we kind of can't call it a room compared to everyone else, I thought of it as a closet. I mean, literally, it was just a room, 1 chair, 2 mattresses on the floor. Well, everyone else had beds, or at least pull-out beds. We just got 2 mattresses on the floor. That was kind of sad. And then grade 9 Strathcona, super memorable only because Kathleen stayed true to herself, being a snake. Cold-blooded, never warm. No matter how many sweaters, jackets, anything we gave her, she was still freezing and we never know why. Cold-blooded. And then there's Florida, where we also committed the worst act of all, procrastination. Sleep. We never got any. Even though we really needed it after that 1 week of all-nighters, or at least for me, sleeping at 2:30, which is really late.
Get more sleep.
You wish.
I'm in jeopardy to stop procrastination.
That would be one of our hardest things to solve. World problems, we are now at procrastination list above global warming. As probably you already know, we've probably been procrastinating enough anyway with global warming. That's very well. Anyway, and next topic. I've done astronomy, and I'd really like to thank my 2 mentors, because I'm special I get 2. Dr. Douglas Scott and Todd McKenzie. They taught me many things I never would have actually known myself on the topic of astronomy, namely Planck's law, which I'm sure no one will remember after my presentation, and if I were to give it to you right now, it'd be more like blah, 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 and no one will remember. Because really, who wants to hear me talk about brightness versus temperature, intensities, radiation lengths, and all that stuff? No. Anyway, to conclude, NX and Spectrum, they will always forever be in my memories, and you always be in my hearts. Thank you.
Oh.
If you move it 25
I'm going to go kiss all the kids.
Today, we're gathered here to celebrate the graduation of Spectrum Grade 12. The minds weren't about 2012 being the apocalypse because they didn't make a prediction. They simply stopped making calendars subsequent to 2012. Actually, it's a little more complicated than that. They have cycles. But, oh, and we had chicken on the menu today. There's so many kinds of chicken. Americana chicken, Buckeye chicken, California grade chicken, Holland chicken, Rhode Island red chicken, Java chicken, Iowa blue chicken, New Hampshire chicken, Abasa chicken, Asperana chicken, Obama chicken, Arauca chicken, Hobart chicken, Marble chicken, Icelandic chicken, and last but not least, Kulani chicken. My chicken's pretty actually, that was the chicken species and breeds. But you know what I love about chicken? The legs. They're eternally tender. Well, I digress. Thank you all for amazing and very comedic 3 years of Spectrum. I can proudly say that I made my way through 3 excruciating long work-filled years, minus 1 week for Florida. So here is a quote from Confucius. If you do not change the direction in which you are going, you will end up where you are headed. Well, I don't want to change my direction. I just completed Spectrum, and I like where I've gone, and I like where I'm going. And, you know, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take lemons back. Get back! I don't want your lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? Man, sea lice manager. Make life rule the day if I could get Davis with lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who had 3 years of Spectrum, 3 years of training to compete against the world and win with the lemons. Thank you.
We have affectionately referred to as Project X for the past week, simply because we didn't want anyone to know about it. We call it Spectrum Exposed because although you have heard our speeches and our more professional reflections on Spectrum and lemons and chicken, you don't know too much about who we are in the classroom or even out of the classroom. So we thought we would share a few of Spectrum's secrets with you for each person. Enjoy.
Proceed the lens cap. Is it? Okay.
So Davis, where are you? Or Aaron, one of you. You want help, please?
Technical assistance.
Okay, keep on. What's in magic?
So I'll be 15% in tips.
I'll pay you.
Fix it first, buddy.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh yeah.
That's Zach's mentor. He's the one who did all the lights and.
What's his
I think it's light technician or some fancy schmancy stuff.
But most of all, thank you for bringing lots of joy and laughter to our class. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the symbol there?
Okay, so Martin, the future astronaut, where are you? There you are. We can't wait to read about your future exploits in some kind of very scientific journal. Although your NX project had many of us lost because the high level of mathematics it contained were very difficult, I'm going to admit, but Andy Shee really enjoyed it. It only proved our faith in your intelligence. You are also an incredibly kind person and wonderful to work with on projects. I don't know why you talk about procrastination because I honestly don't see it, but thank you so much for your dedication to your work.
That's not awkward at all.
What is there to say? Gala planning, late night homework help, sharing your lunch, eternal politeness, our go-to girl for answers. Your bright smile has not faded since grade 8 and we hope it never does. Thank you.
Andy Sheen, also known as the child genius. Enough said. But seriously, what are you not good at? From math equations to English essays, you never fail to amaze us with your brilliance or your spirit and sense of humor. Thank you for not only sharing your brains, but sharing your kindness and being a pleasure to study with. We will certainly miss you, but the IB program is lucky to have you next year. Thank you. What to expect from you even after 3 years. Your dynamic personality and infamous comeback never failed to astound or even confuse us. Thanks for the memories and all the laughs, and Facebook comments. Andy Lin. Continuously calm, cool, and collected, our Japanese professor and badminton extraordinaire, you are a talented person and always willing to lend a hand in your projects. Thank you for your contributions and kindness.
Kathleen Lau. Oh, Kathleen, you blow our minds with your never-ending work ethic. Your ability to write 10 pages for one assignment never ceases to amaze us, almost as much as your ability to survive without sleep. Thank you for setting the bar high and for your witty, hilarious comments. The day you write only one page will be the day the world ends.
Kate, you only joined us this year, but it feels like you've always been here. Your English skills and very dramatic writing were both thought-provoking and very original. I think we can all agree that your NX presentation blew us away. Although it was your first year, you were experienced and knowledgeable, and thank you for being a great addition to our class. Marcus. You will forever be known as the LB King, no matter how much you grow, even though you're taller than me now. I don't know why that happened. Okay. We will miss walking into class and seeing your cool story bro, tell it again shirt. You will have easily the most valuable skill in Spectrum, the ability to stop working after 11:30. Thank you for your laughs and also the financial planning advice.
Stephanie Lee, funny, optimistic, and forever polite even when meeting us in a debate. You have a bright smile and a big heart that never fails to make others around you laugh and have fun. Thank you for being a ray of sunshine to our class and playing a big role in planning this fabulous gala.
Angela, your sweet yet blunt personality is what makes you a great friend. Thank you for telling it as it is while remaining one of the nicest people we know.
Mitchie Food, I love you! Your impersonations never fail to amuse us with their accuracy. Not only academically talented, your skills at volleyball and hilarity always made you a fun guy to be around, whether we were in Florida or completing a hectic project. Thank you for successfully balancing your Spectrum life with sports, and we're glad you did.
They made him into a meme.
Nick, not only are you the most memeable member of Spectrum, your hosting abilities are like no other. The abundance of food at your house is one of the greatest project memories. You have taught us more than we thought we would ever need to know about Call of Duty.
They just put like a little description. So it's just going.
Karen, efficiency is your gift, and we're glad you have it. A master at project completion and abundant energy is something you should be very proud of. Thank you for keeping all your group on task, even when your group members are fooling around.
0 for 3.
Well, I guess a picture is worth 1,000 words, and this was taken on a typical day in Spectrum. As you can see, Zach is a funny guy who never failed at making us laugh. Thank you for teaching us to expect the unexpected.
Your amazing singing abilities and your creative in creating songs for projects help us achieve not only marks but also great memories. Thank you for funny memes and the sarcasm that seems to perfectly capture any situation.
Michelle, out of the corner of my eye in every socials class I have never not seen you crouch over the desk frantically taking notes. It's no surprise you do so well. Besides your studious nature, your genuine kindness was an asset and gift to the class.
Eric, thank you for choreographing all the Spectrum fight scenes and amazing us with your crazy ninja abilities. We will never forget the entertaining moment you shared with us at the end of our Romeo and Juliet video.
Okay. Well, I clapped to that. Oh, Joey, you look cute.
Joey, even though you are often quiet in class, your willingness to share your food and to lend a helping hand is much appreciated. Thank you for providing all the Spectrum snacks and for being so kind and generous.
Jerry, in class you are a chill, easygoing guy, but one thing many people do not know about you is that you were brave enough to audition for the Korean pop agency with your recent dance skills. This is not the first of your brilliant ideas. Another example would be establishing the legendary Spectrum Facebook group, which saved us all from homework reminders, sharing ideas, and project criteria. Iris, you are a sweet, quiet nature, but an underlying subtle, witty sense of humor we never expected. You also have one of the strongest work ethics in our class. We would never want you to change, but if there's one thing you should do differently, please get more sleep in the summer.
The Specky, who is, I think, the most active on Facebook. Guys, I've been studying in science. For every post, there is an equal and opposite comment from Michael. Thank you for livening up the page and giving us plenty of interesting things to read when we should be doing homework.
Morning. From grade 8, you have been known as the monk after your memorable performance in the Feudal Japan presentation. Your logical analysis of every situation never failed to provide a clear perspective, and your reactions to any mispronunciation of your name were always amusing. Thank you for the entertainment and the wise words.
Aaron, your ability to fix any technical problems or anything computer-related has proven to be of real help in not only our Spectrum class, but also around the school. Without you, many projects would not have been completed on time or quite as efficiently. Thank you for being so helpful in updating the class with the latest Spectrum documents.
Davis Wu. Your ability to obtain food from any person still astounds us. But really what makes you stand out is your skill at editing videos and making beautiful projects. As I'm sure we've all seen tonight, your humorous character is your most memorable feature. Who can forget that I'm a Rock sequence way back in grade 8? Thank you for the useful socials notes, although you did make us pay for them, and for always spicing up our class.
See, it looks like that part if you tilt your head.
Curtis. A talented golfer and mathematician, no wonder you were named a top 30 under 30 in the Richmond Review. Aside from that, as I'm sure we all missed this year, your chill personality kept us calm even in the most stressful situations. Thanks for the memories and the "it's all good man" comments. Thank you, everybody. So I guess I can speak for all of us when I say you were a memorable group, lots of great personalities, and I really, I don't think Spectrum would have been quite the same if we'd had anybody else. So thank you guys, just for being you.
I am very full. For the past 3 years, it's been really fun. And I think it's mainly because of my friends. My friends have made everything worthwhile. The torturous work that we've done, such as grade 8 at Kathleen's house, we were up till 1 working on a project. I remember Davis being in a lot of pain from all the slippers thrown at him from Kathleen. And not just slippers, there was also some other stuff from other region. A lot of good memories, like NX. For me, NX 10 was actually quite fun. My project wasn't really that hard. I kickboxed on the computer. And my mentor, Dr. Kirk Schultz, he was really cool. I want to thank him. I also want to thank my printer for surviving our brutal pickups by individuals. And I'd like to thank you guys for influencing me and allowing me to procrastinate even harder. Yeah, I procrastinate even harder. I think that procrastination is not necessarily a bad thing. It helps you relieve stress. And when you're in Spectrum, there's a lot of stress involved. Particularly the week before in Florida, we had like 5 tests and 3 projects at the same time, period of 1 week. And procrastinating, a lot of stress was removed from my shoulders and allowed me to survive that week and maybe Florida that much more worthwhile. Well, for memories, I just want to talk about all the memories I had with my friends. Giving games of Call of Duty with my friends. Drinking a Slurpee in cold winter day when it was 3 degrees out before I came to Curtis. It was a half-hour walk from home and I was drinking a Slurpee before I came. I got home, turns out a 38-degree fever. Yeah, good times. Strathcona was fun. I remember spending hours and hours playing Big 2 in the middle of the night with Curtis again. A second night, we hauled every single mattress in the main living room, so we had 8 guys crammed in about 1/4 side of this room. It was a lot of fun, and I remember how sleepy we were. One particular question by Mitch: would you rather sniff a propane tank or kick a dumbbell? How tired we were. Yeah, grade 9, that was also really fun. 2.2 kilometer portage. It was heavy. We had many. It was wet. It was cold, but it was a lot of fun because of you guys. For Florida, it was really fun, particularly the Florida Mall, because obviously that was the best part. You get to shop. I didn't really buy much. And I'd like to thank my friends for being my friends. They made the last few years worth it. Thanks. Oranges.
Thank you, Michael. And now we'd like to invite Maisel onto our podium and say something. And it would be really awesome if everyone could give the speakers their undivided attention. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone, and I hope you're all enjoying the gala so far. I'd like to thank the mentors and the families for attending tonight because it means a lot to us. And also I'd like to thank Priscilla, Stephanie, and Aurelia for organizing this gala and making it possible for us. I just want to say that I'm very glad to be able to have the opportunity to spend 3 years with all of you, even though Curtis missed a year. You guys are really awesome people, and I won't ever forget the times we had together. As for memories, I would also want to point out to my awesome dodo birds, which is Angela, Stephanie, and Cecilia. I remember how in grade 8, the first night we went to Strathcona, we had rats in our room at like 3 a.m. and it was pain. In grade 9, Strathcona, I was doing a 2.2-kilometer portage with Rebecca. And it took us like 2 hours just to hike like 1.5 kilometers. But once we heard like noises in the bush, we ran the rest of the way with like a canoe on our back. So it was interesting. Also, this year in Florida, it was really like to the time of my life. How we were so tired, we would sleep in parks and everything, looking like hobos. And also, how we got married to each other last year. I hope you will still remember your husbands and wives. And also, again, thanks to like Stephanie for letting me crush her hand while I went on the Manchow ride, crying through the whole thing. And for everyone, you know who you are, for really caring for me when I had heat stroke on the trip. It meant a lot. And also, I really wish the best to Andy, Shia, and Jerry for going to Ivy next year. I'll miss you a lot. And I just want to say you guys can never ever be replaced. Thank you.
Hi, I'd like to introduce the speech. We killed many trees in Mrs. Moore's class, so I'm saving one today. My speech on my laptop. I personally don't remember very many speeches that have been given to me over the years, so I'll try to keep this one short. As much as the phrase good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment may hold true, there are several issues that I'll be addressing shortly. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the following entities which have made my graduation of Spectrum possible. I'd like to thank Google, Steve Jobs, and Spark Notes. Lastly, I'd also like to thank Canon. Without my camera, the completion of my NX project about recording arts would not have been possible. My mentor and I worked together to establish basic photo-taking techniques, manipulated digital media, and experimented with new technology that is not yet mainstream. English might have been the language of the 20th century, but technology is the language of the 21st century. The phrase, a pen is mightier than the sword, should actually be replaced or updated with the internet is mightier than the sword. To end my speech off, the one important lesson which I've taken away from Spectrum is that a deadline is the best motivation. Thank you.
So, my speech is pretty short too. Pretty much the same reason as Martin said, procrastination. I didn't really want to write the speech, so I kind of left it till right after school today. So, time has really flown by, hasn't it? It's kind of crazy to think that tomorrow is the last day we'll have in the Spectrum, and there won't be any more amusing yet pointless conversations at 3 in the morning on Facebook. I think that collectively not sleeping and procrastinating has, in a way, brought us all closer together, strange as that seems. And I think that this year, as cliche as it sounds, we really have become one great big family, just like Mr. McBurney had predicted. At the beginning, I didn't really believe him. I thought it would just be 3 years of work. But we had a lot of fun times together, and these past 3 years with all you wonderful people as my classmates has really been a lot of fun. I've gained so many awesome memories and a lot of firsts through Spectrum, and especially throughout Kona. I slept under a tarp for the first time. I climbed down a huge tree with Kathleen for the first time. Thought I was going to die while climbing down that tree. And of course, went to Orlando for the first time. But of course, everything has its ups and downs, and we've all gone through a lot of pain too. Mostly in the form of English homework, and of course NX. But when all is said and done, I'm really going to miss Spectrum next year. These 3 years of being referred to as a Speckie in the hallways, by myself, other Speckies too, has really made Spectrum a really big part of my life, and inevitably part of my identity. And I'm sure that next year, when we're all out of Spectrum and some people have gone their separate ways, school is going to be very different. First of all, there'll be a lot less confusion about which class I'm going to be going to in the morning, and which is a very wonderful thing. But at the same time, I won't have a class with 29 other extremely smart people to make me feel completely incompetent at times, which is a good thing and a bad thing. On a different note, though, everyone have very good luck on your exams, and thank you for being awesome these 3 years.
All the MC speeches are up here as well. I can just start reading those and say they're fine. Let me take mostly the Spectrum students back to right in front of Mr. Mitz's room. I am incredibly excited to go do my Spectrum interview, which is all I have to do. I don't need a portfolio. I don't have to write a test. All I have to do is walk into a room with Mr. Mitzis and some other Spectrum teacher and tell them about myself. And I'm feeling supremely confident until I realize that Eunice and Nelson are geniuses and they're going to blow me away. When I get in, Mr. Mitzis is so encouraging, and I'm so certain that I can do this, and then I look at Mr. Yu. I tell jokes, I have a good time. Mr. Mitzis is laughing, Mr. Yu. I thought there was no chance of me being here. And still, I'm waiting by the phone the day that Mr. Mitzis says he's going to call. And I don't think I've ever screamed as loud as I did when he called. I wouldn't have screamed if I knew I hadn't hung up the phone and he had heard me freaking out. But it was the perfect way to start in the Spectrum. I knew that someone in the Spectrum family would know that I was so excited, even if I was the kind of 8th cousin, 6 times removed from like Guatemala, kind of coming in like, what of you guys? You guys did a really good job. Like, I've never felt so welcomed into somewhere, especially in high school. Like, people see Spectrum as this totally different group. Like, I always thought Spectrum is a totally different group, and they are, but it's not a bad thing. It's such a great way to start your adult life, to be with other people who care about you this much. Of course, I gotta talk about Orlando, because I can't talk about Strathcona. I can't talk about portaging canoes or sleeping in the rain. Unless you want to hear my family horror stories go camping, which I'm guessing you don't. Orlando was so much fun. I know it was pretty much the end of the year, but it solidified Spectrum for me. I never knew who would be up at 3 in the morning doing cardio and listening to Justin Bieber. I never knew who would be rolling down the hall pretending to be a sushi roll. I didn't know who was terrified of roller coasters, ate a plate of brisket, and then went on the manta ray with me. Lenny, not a good idea. It was so much fun to get to know people on a totally different level and to see who they already were, even more so. Like Maisel, the night that we went to Cirque, you were taking care of everyone. You weren't worrying about your dress, you weren't worrying about your hair, your makeup, you were making sure everyone else looked their best and they felt like princesses. And it was so sweet knowing that there's people like that, especially in high school where once in a while you feel like totally ripped apart from Mrs. Marr and school. You know you're all thinking of Mrs. Marr. Even my mother. It was also great to know who had the confidence to stand up for themselves against Mrs. Marr. I can name people who sat beside me, who sat across from the room. Those connections that you make in classes when you look at each other and you go, this is not real, this can't be happening to me right now. And finally, NX. I'm sorry, I never believed you guys when you were like, NX is the end of the world, it's terrible. It takes all your time, you procrastinate and feel like you're gonna die. oh my god, you feel like you're gonna die. It's the night before, and you're like, where's my project? Where's my report? Oh, where's my cover page? Oh yeah, I didn't do any of it. I was watching movies all night. If I did not have pretty much the coolest mentor ever, Jay, who I am going to point out and make awkward. Hi, Jay. If I didn't know him, I would have been so scared. I might not have even done it. Like, I commend you guys for going out into the world and finding people. I called a family friend and said, I need help. Can you help me? I had such a fun time this year, and it's so weird knowing that I'm not just leaving Spectrum, I'm leaving UC London. Like, it's weird knowing I'm completely ending this, but I'm really happy that I did it. I know that it probably didn't seem like it when I was getting mad at Mrs. Marr in front of, like, everyone, but I'm really, really grateful that you guys accepted me the way that you did. And I'm just really grateful that I actually did this. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kate, for that super heartwarming speech. Although this concludes the end of our speeches, we still have...
Oh yeah, we still have Dawn, but that's after.
Yeah, that's after. For now we'll have the guys present another song to us. Sorry!
You guys are after. Yeah.
I don't know, Spectrum. Pretty good. Chill, man.
Grade 9 champ. Lost memories, guys. Yeah, Portage. For our community group. And Orlando.
I think it's something just from
Ireland. And we're gonna sing
New Gala.
No, it's Zach.
For how long?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I guess I have a few different things to say than most people. First of all, Kate, I see your J and I raise you George. Stand up, dude. Say, everybody say hi to George. Hi, George. Everyone's talking about how, NX sucked and, you're up till 4 in the morning doing whatever. I had quite a different experience, especially thanks to George. NX, I really looked forward to it. Every time, I went and met up with George, everyone else, they were like, oh, God, go to the lab and do the work and whatever. And, well, I think I've eaten more sushi in the past 6 months than my whole life with George. But nonetheless, got so much done. Like, everything that's on there, it's just, it'll change later. And everything back here, wow, look at that thing. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us right here in saying that I think we've gotten the most amount of sleep out of everybody in this class. Especially Eric.
8 hours.
Especially Eric. 8 hours every night. I props to this kid. 8 hours every night.
That's triple everyone else's.
And like during stressful times, like this past week and the week before Florida, like, jeez. Asking this kid for answers at 1 in the morning is the most useless thing you can do. You think like, oh, Eric will know. Eric's a smart kid. 1 a.m. and Eric, he's asleep. Yeah. So. Yeah. Here we go.
Oh, this next song is a very emotional one. It was written by someone here. Take it away. That's just a joke. This next song is cover of Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, featuring this hippie Nick Shane. Hold on.
Wait, guys. Oh no.
Have something flashing after. Hold on.
get the guy from working on it.
Yeah, he might have some Red Bull.
You know I'm specky. I went to Orlando. Got a nice big sunburn. Sunscreen concealer. We went from park to park. Disney World and Space Center. Universal was the best. SeaWorld's real cats. Take me to the rides. That'll chill my bones. Space Mountain. We're bound to hear.
Question, are we playing another song? Are we waiting? Are we waiting for another song or are we doing it now?
Oh, you're doing it later.
Alrighty, thank you everyone!
Can Becca, Jamie, Srini, Melody, and Sylvie please come up? Oh, wait, yeah, Sylvie please come up to do their speeches. Yeah, I know. Wait, you guys said you wanted to stand up together. Okay, I was like,
Stand up for yourself, Melody.
Okay, so over the past few years, Spectrum has given me many valuable experiences and unforgettable memories. Stepping into my first Spectrum class in the September of 2009, I did not know what to expect. All I knew was that there was going to be a lot of stepping outside my comfort zone, taking initiative, and challenging myself. The nervousness of being in an enriched class with 29 other people I barely knew eventually faded after numerous group projects. And just like many of you Speckies, I have grown to be so comfortable and familiar with our Spectrum class that I can memorize our attendance list in order forwards and backwards in my sleep. During the first week of high school, when Mr. McBurney told our grade 8 socials class that by grade 10, our class is going to be like a family, I found that hard to believe.
But now I think we can all agree that the countless inside jokes and experiences we share is proof that we have grown closer as a class and in some ways as a family. We've slept under tarps and tents together, we've survived NX together, and we've traveled halfway across the continent together. I will never forget these wonderful friendships and experiences. Aside from the relationships and the bonds, I can take away from Spectrum the valuable experience of NX. NX has pushed me to challenge myself in ways that have motivated me to do things that I never thought I'd be able to do. The lessons I've learned from Spectrum are too many to count, but if I can choose one most important thing that I've learned, that would be the importance of sleep. I'm sure a few of the parents here have witnessed some of us working away at an assignment or project at some crazy ungodly hour, or finding us taking 5-hour naps after a stressful day at school. Despite the lack of sleep, some of you never fail to amaze me with your stellar work and 10-page English deconstructions. The work ethics, humor, and variety of personalities in this class is what makes for an enjoyable and fun group. Even though grade 11 is going to be an entirely new experience, I just want to say that I'm so grateful to have been in the same class as all of you Speckies for the past few years, and it has been a pleasure working, procrastinating, and staying up with all of you. Thank you for all the laughs and good times.
So, good evening. So, Speckies, it's been 3 years. It has already been 3 stressful yet memorable years ever since Spectrum started. We have watched each other grow just like a family. The time passed by immensely fast and we all changed ever since. When we first enrolled in Spectrum, remember the teachers told us that this program is about taking initiative and stepping out of your comfort zone? To me, however, Spectrum was about discovering your utmost abilities and putting them to practice. I wasn't looking forward to be the best in class or the smartest in class, which I'm obviously not, and she's got that place. But instead, I was seeking for an opportunity to learn from others and to improve my knowledge as a student. Spectrum is extremely competitive, and everyone is unique in their own way. Ever since grade 10 started, I feel the fierce competition during class between our peers. However, throughout this year, I learned that the biggest competition in the program are not your peers, but yourself. But being able to compete against yourself and win is the greatest challenge. One of the most challenging and thought-provoking projects I have ever done was NX. The project made me realize that doing things last minute will not help. It may help you momentarily, but it will ruin you in the long run. Throughout this project, I have never experienced such stress and responsibility. I had to make every meeting worthwhile with my mentor, so I don't feel like I'm wasting his time. Even though my mentor could not be here today, I would truly like to thank him for his time and commitment in my project. I cannot thank him more for the valuable things that he has taught me and the effort he spent in this project. I would like to thank all the Spectrum teachers for their wise guidance over the years, and I will always remember their valuable teachings. Lastly, I would like to take the time to thank my friends. I could not have possibly gone through these years without you guys. When I felt like giving up, you were the ones that picked me up and reassured me that we were all in this together. You guys are not just my friends, you are my family. Thank you so much once again, and good luck to you all in the future. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone. So like the majority of every other assignment in Spectrum, I wrote this about 3 hours ago. But between the late nights and getting up super early in the morning to come to school for projects, I wouldn't give it up, any of those moments for anything. Back in grade 7, whenever someone mentioned Spectrum, I used to think of a class of 30 kids, who have 2 academic classes every day together. I didn't see anything special about the program. And I wasn't wrong. We are a class of 30 students, but we're also more than that. Over the past 3 years, we've become a real family, helping each other, learning from each other, and most importantly, we built countless memories together. Ones that I'm sure all of us will be able to recount years from now. I know I'll definitely remember Strathcona, how Michael ditched me by myself on an island, out of the way on a canoe laughing. Going on that first ride at Universal Studios and seeing how happy everyone was when we went on that first ride, and just simply those daily classes together.
Back then, my perception of spectrum was just merely centered on learning academics, setting goals and expectations, and striving to achieve our personal bests. Again, I wasn't wrong, but I've learned that there's more to spectrum than that. Being in the same class with the same people over the course of these 3 years has not only taught me how to cooperate and work together as one, but mostly taught me about myself. I have learned where my own limits lie, to strive to work hard in this environment where goals and expectations are set fairly high, and ultimately just to develop and grow as an individual. Not only as an individual, but growing together as a class. Reflecting back on my experience, I'm beyond thankful to have been able to be a part of something so special. So I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you just for being yourself and being just the way you are. I could not have asked to be in a class of more outgoing and understanding people who stuck with each other through thick and thin. Although Spectrum is finished for us, this is not the end. It's only the beginning. And I want to wish good luck to Andy and Jerry next year. Good luck and best wishes to everyone too.
So, we've made it. The time passed by in the blink of an eye, and all 31 of us here today have remarkably changed in some way. For myself, Spectrum wasn't only an opportunity to heighten my academic abilities, but most importantly to discover a new side of me. If you were to ask me 2 years ago to write a 3-page essay in a single night on great expectations would not be expected. Skills which helped me accomplish the impossible. Our story unfolds in a journey of memorable experiences and lessons learned. Reflecting on the past years in Spectrum, I truly became aware of the significance of friendship. Whether sneaking an agenda to your classmate to prevent the loss of green dot, or lending an extra calculator in math class, the value of helping one another was what brought us closer together. Without each other's company, the result is clear. This evening would have been non-existent if Priscilla and Aurelia and Stephanie hadn't volunteered to organize everything and make this happen. So thank you guys. Anyhow, in my opinion, Spectrum not only treasured the enjoyable moments in class, but also consisted of unforgettable experiences outside of school. These adventures included the test of survival at Camp Strathcona and pure fun and joy at our stay in Orlando. Despite having every piece of clothing drenched from the rain and waking up to water dripping on your face from a broken tarp, or the decide to jump into a pool from the burning sun and having the time of our lives in the numerous theme parks we went to, these experiences were extremely meaningful and extraordinary. Lastly, although it's had late to realize this, but I learned that Spectrum is not all about grades, and definitely ever about yourself. From the beginning of the year, we were engaged with team building activities and participated in group projects. The intention was clear. We were to adapt with each other's working along with different personalities of each individual. I'm very thankful for this aspect in our learning because the teachers have exceptionally prepared us for the future, allowing us the ability to adapt in our future learning and working environments. For these reasons, I want to especially thank all the Spectrum teachers who were unable to attend this event tonight, and every single one of my classmates who have all helped me at one point in time. I wish you all the best.
Hi, everybody. Well, it is difficult for me, as I'm sure it was for all of you, to fully accept that I'm standing on the stage making this speech. The 3 years have gone by so quickly, and it's hard to believe we learned so much. I know that I have grown as a person since grade 8, and I attribute much of this change to my experience in Spectrum. When I began, I was a nervous 8th grader who only knew one person in the program. Hi, Mom. But there's nothing like being thrown into a group of 28 strangers, knowing only that you will be working together every day and trekking through the woods together. And also knowing that everyone else is probably going to be smarter than you, to get you out of your comfort zone and give you some push to do your best. Just like Ms. Moss said it would 3 years ago. But Spectrum has taught us more than just 4 academic subjects. I still remember Mr. McBurney's seating arrangements back in 8th grade. Every class we were encouraged to sit in a different place with different people. The purpose of this, unlike what I previously guessed, was not to make us uncomfortable, but to grow a sense of community and that would create us to be the family that we would become. And also, it was not to stop us from talking, although that would become a major goal for the Spectrum teachers later. The purpose was to take us out of our small groups of friends and make us one united collection of people as we are today. In doing so, we've learned how to support one another, how to work together, and most importantly, how to learn from one another. I can honestly say, being among those who are once strangers has taught me confidence and lessons I will never forget. We are a family and a community. If you asked any Specky what their greatest challenge is, especially when completing projects, as you heard tonight, they would all say procrastination. More specifically, occasionally socializing with other Speckies instead of being productive and working on whatever project it was. While I am guilty of it, and I am no way advocating procrastination, we have to remember that it is a testament to how close we have become and the friendships we have formed. We don't have an excuse to procrastinate next year, guys. Some of my greatest memories, I would say, from Spectrum would be working with my mentor, who unfortunately couldn't be here for NX. His name was Mr. Sean DeFries, and he was a TV producer. He taught me a lot about the job, such as, no, you can't put someone normal into your TV show. Normal people don't make good television. And also, he was just an excellent role model because of his work ethic and his dedication. He's actually out working right now, and that's why he couldn't be here. Another great memory, a very memorable memory, would be the Romeo and Juliet project. I'll never forget Priscilla and I. We kind of looked at each other and realized what a creative and dedicated group we must be in to see 3 of our fellow classmates running around Dairy Point wearing togas. It's okay, we did get the A. It was completely worth it. And finally, the group of girls that was my cabin at Strathcona for the past few years, we've definitely had some very memorable conversations late at night, and I don't think we're ever going to forget those. But I'm sworn to secrecy. Anyway, no matter who you are and what you expected from your time in Spectrum, I know it exceeded your expectations. Regardless of how nervous I was from the beginning, I am so grateful I mustered the courage to enter this program and had the opportunity to befriend, work with, and be part of this wonderful group of people. Thank you.